All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Marshfield Middle School Orchestra Concert. Yay! Just in case you've not met me before, my name is Miss Scheidegger, and I'm the orchestra director at Marshfield Middle School. I know I'm super excited to have our concert tonight, and I know all the students who are performing tonight as well are also very excited. Maybe a little nervous too, because it's the first concert we've had in a while, but definitely very excited. We're going to start off tonight by having our 7th grade orchestra perform for you. The 7th graders get to meet orchestra every other day when they finally get to middle school, and so they've been working really hard this year so far. Our first song that we're going to play is a fun, creepy tune called The Abandoned Funhouse. And so periodically throughout the night, you're going to see back on the piano our piano accompanist, Mrs. Carol, and so she'll be popping up on the piano a couple times throughout the night for us. So she's going to play on this first one with us called The Abandoned Funhouse. All right, so I'm proud of all of my students after the last year and a half, 2 years we've had an orchestra, but especially some of the 7th graders up on this stage. So we have a pretty wide range of kind of what their orchestra experience has been like the last 2 years. Some of them joined in 5th grade when everything was fine and normal, and then boom, March of 2020 happened. We had virtual orchestra. And then last year they did virtual orchestra all through 6th grade. And then we got to be back in person again this year in 7th grade. Some of them did the in-person option in 5th grade and then decided, virtual orchestra is not my thing. I'm going to take a year off and come back in 7th grade. So some of these guys took a whole year off playing their instrument. And then some of them are brand new beginners on their instruments. So I think it doesn't really matter kind of where they started. I think we've come together as a group and it's sounding really good. That's the big thing we've been working on this year in 7th grade, is working on playing together, because it's the biggest thing we lacked getting to do the last year and a half. So they've been doing a great job listening to each other, watching me as the conductor and listening to themselves to make sure they're playing in tune with everybody else. So we're doing great on that skill, and I can't kind of wait to see how much more they grow in that as the year goes on. Our second song is called Russian Music Box, and this is a really cool piece. Not only does the melody get passed around the group, but we get to play pizzicato, or plucking our strings, and sometimes we get to play arco, using our bow. So we get to pass the melody around, play different ways, and in the middle, the violins and violas get to play it in a round, and the cellos and basses kind of keep us on track with our beat. So here's Russian Music Box. All right, our last piece with just the 7th graders before we switch and let the 8th graders come up is a piece that I always really love working on with my middle school groups, and I think every time I pull it out, I always have quite a few that say this one is their favorite. The melody gets passed around between all the different groups, so everybody gets a moment in the spotlight as we go through this piece. After this piece, it's going to take just a second to get the groups kind of resettled and situated. We'll get 7th grade in the audience and 8th grade up on here, so give us a minute or two to make that switch when it happens. But don't worry, the 7th graders are going to come back up towards the end. We're going to play a couple more songs with them. So the last one with just the 7th graders is a piece called Sailor's Song. We hope you enjoy. All right, our second group of the night is our 8th grade orchestra. These guys get the joy of starting every morning with me at 7:45 a.m. So sometimes they're a little sleepy when they come into class, but by the time they leave, hopefully I've woken them up enough. Even if they're really tired, if I ask them to fake it till you make it and pretend you've had a couple Mountain Dews, they usually perk up a little bit and give me all the energy and enthusiasm that we need. So that's really great. The first song that we're going to play is called Heroic Adventure, and it uses and funnels a lot of this energy and enthusiasm into all of the fast bows that we get to do. So the first piece is Heroic Adventure. We may be a little bit smaller group, and we may be down a couple of people this evening, but they can really crank the sound out, get their bows moving. So that sounded really good. The second song that they're going to be doing is a song called Haunted Carousel. And this one, we're going to bring Mrs. Carroll back out and play the piano again for us. One of the biggest things we work on in middle school, but especially in 8th grade, is moving our hand to different positions, our left hand to different positions on our instrument, to kind of expand the notes that we know and the notes available for us to use in songs. So this one really worked on that for us. Both the violins, violas, and the cellos have to kind of stretch their hand to some new spots to play some new notes. So here is our spooky song for the evening, The Haunted Carousel. right, our 8th graders are going to play one more song for you before we have the 7th graders come back up and join us on stage. The next piece that they're going to play is a song called Hunter's Moon. This piece passes the melody around to all the different groups, so everybody gets their moment to shine again. I like picking songs that give everybody their moment to shine. And so while the melody is getting passed around to the different groups of the orchestra, the other groups are playing some driving rhythms to kind of keep our tempo going throughout the piece as we go. One of the other biggest things we work on in 8th grade orchestra is working on our endurance playing. We didn't get to practice for most of the year together last year. We got to see each other a little bit 4th quarter last year as 7th graders. But on top of those ensemble skills, we've been working on playing longer and more complicated pieces of music. Not only is it the physical stamina that you need to do those, but the mental concentration to keep track of where you're at, know what notes you need to play, counting, all that good stuff. So we've been working really hard on that. And this last piece, Hunter's Moon, is kind of the culmination of that. So here's the last piece for just the 8th grade orchestra. Again, we'll take a couple minutes to get the 7th graders back up here when they're done playing, and we'll play our last 2 pieces for you. All right. We've reached a time of the year where the dry air sometimes makes our instruments go out of tune from setting it down to picking it back up. So we've been checking a lot to make sure that we stay nice and in tune while we're playing. We have two combined pieces this evening. The first one is from the movie The Polar Express. It's called Believe. And while I think this song fits the spirit of the season pretty well, I also love some of the lyrics because I feel like they kind of transcend past December and Christmas. I printed some of them in your program for you, but I'm going to read them for you real quick. So the lyrics that I really love about this song are, believe in what your heart is saying, hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste, there's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. Now, I think we'd be hard-pressed today to find anyone in our world who hasn't been affected in some way in the last year and a half, almost 2 years. And so I know between virtual school and virtual orchestra, the students behind me have definitely faced some adversity in the last 2 years. And so I think that it's moments like this, when we finally get to have a concert again after so long, that we take a moment and acknowledge that and celebrate it. One of the things I told them in the orchestra room before we came out was, I don't care if we make some little mistakes here and there. You guys have put a lot of hard work in. I just want you to have fun while we're playing tonight, because we haven't gotten to do this in so long. So I think it's important that we celebrate getting to have our concerts together again. Let's see. Oops, I skipped ahead of my notes. The students behind me in the last year and a half, 2 years, have definitely shown grit and determination in adversity, especially in orchestra. It was not easy doing those virtual lessons. I think if you asked any of them, they'd probably say, I like in-person better than virtual, right? Show of hands, who likes in-person orchestra better than virtual orchestra? Yeah, that's what I thought. So they've definitely risen to the challenge. They believed in themselves when maybe they thought we wouldn't get to do orchestra again for a long time. They hung in there. They waited it out, and they got to do orchestra together again, and we get to play together again. So this song is a celebration for that. So here's Believe. All right, we've somehow arrived at our last song of the evening already. So before we finish, I just want to take a quick moment to say a thank you so much for your support of the musicians up on stage. Without your encouragement at home, especially over the last 2 years, tonight wouldn't be possible. So thank you so much for supporting them and encouraging them along the way. Thank you to our district administration for your support as we get our music program back to having kids singing and playing in person again this year. So thank you so much. Thank you again to Mrs. Carroll back on the piano playing for us tonight. She disappeared already. Thank you again to her for playing for us again tonight. Our last song is one of my absolute favorites. I love doing this one with middle school. If you have a student older than these guys who went through the orchestra program with me, you've probably heard this one before. This arrangement of Carol of the Bells is based off of the version by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It has lots of driving rhythms, kind of a harder rock edge to it. So it's a really fun way to kind of wrap up our concert for the evening. So here is our last song. We hope you have a joyful holiday season and a relaxing winter break, and drive home safe, and thank you so much for coming. Here's a 7th grade and 8th grade orchestra playing Carol of the Bells. To the right.